It's funny to see me as Markham, because I haven't been Markham for like 30 years. So
Yeah. So what happens is when you take on a married name, oh, and I'll just share the screen. What happens is when you take on a married name, so your birth name is like the cake of your life that
yeah,
all your energies are kind of drawing from. So this is your birth chart, and then your married name is like a icing. It goes on top. So the numbers will be different, and they'll be infusing a different type of energy into your life experience. And if you change your name, then it's another layer of icing. If you go by a common name, another layer of icing, but they're not as strong as the core. This is your core. This is your birth chart. And this is why we look at your birth chart more than anything else. Okay, so what I've done is so we're just going to move my little thing. So I've taken the letters of your birth name and I've translated them into Hebrew, the Hebrew alphabet, and then I have mapped them onto what we call your Star of David. So I've mapped these numbers on. You can see these teeny tiny calculations. And each of these numbers carries an energy. So you'll see that we have two triangles, the physical triangle, which is pointing downwards to the earth plane. The physical triangle normally plays out in the first 30, 40 years of your life,
right.
and then come through and into the spiritual. But they kind of play around continually together. There's no sort of you do one, then you do the other. It's an interweaving. And you'll see that you have your karma here in the physical and the spiritual. And your karma is what you will struggle with. It's your challenge. And it's the challenge that your soul wants you to learn and work through that will eventually become your greatest gift. Okay. And you work through your karma, activating your talents, your beautiful talents here. And that's going to keep working on the karma. And you also use your talents to your goals. Your goals are what you came here to do. Okay, your goals. And there can be a bit of karma when we talk about goals. They're supposed to be a little bit challenging. So the karma in your life is mainly negative until we transmute it. Talents are mainly positive. They're pretty much always positive. But the goals have a little bit of both. They're a little bit negative and a little bit positive. So we kind of see what resonates. And you have the same soul destiny as me, which is lovely. And it's also talents. So the goals lead into your soul destiny, which is sort of the pinnacle of why you're really here. And your soul destiny is all about expanding with love. It's so beautiful. And you'll see a 3 here. And we've got 2 3s here. So we're going to talk about your physical karma first. Physical karma of 3s is all about coming out of your shell, out of hiding, and out into the world. So when you were younger, were you quite shy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was shy with people that I didn't really know. If I was happy in a sort of a close knit kind of environment, that I was more outgoing.
Yeah. So the 3 is all about coming out of your shell, coming out of hiding, and sharing yourself with the world. It's a very powerful number, the 3s. It's what we call a master number. So lovely, powerful energies. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in your chart. So they're a strong number coming through. And often people underestimate their own abilities when they have 3s in their karmas. So would you say that sometimes that happens or has happened in the past?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So 3s are all about developing self-worth. And the lesson here is poverty to wealth, not just financially, but also emotionally. So it's coming from a place of poverty into a place of abundance and knowing you're worthy to receive it. And it's also it's all about learning to express your feelings. So have you ever struggled to really express yourself and share your innermost, deepest?
When I was younger, I think now I overshare, but I think when I was younger, yes. I've got a very, as you know, very dominant mother. So, you just learnt just to keep
Keep everything in.
keep everything in. Yeah.
Yeah. So so your physical karma is all about, it's coming out of hiding, developing self-worth, and communicating how you feel. So this is the continual karma that you will always keep working on. It's about communicating how you feel. And then your physical talents. People with 8/8s have quite, in their talents, have quite nice, extensive spiritual insight, nice clairvoyance, nice connection. Would you say that's what you have?
Yes, I've only kind of tapped into that in recent years, probably only in the last sort of 5 or so years. Yeah, definitely get a lot of signs from above and ask above for lots of guidance. And yeah, I definitely feel that link between above.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, so it's people with 8s and their talents can relate to people really nicely as well. So do you find that you can just get on with anyone?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know you. You're very, 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 very loving. The physical talents have very nurturing, feminine qualities, which I know describes you pretty well. But would you say that's...
Yeah, it's funny. My son's girlfriend the other day, she's Jewish, and she said to me, Kerry, you're more of a Jewish mama than my actual Jewish mama, which
Yeah,
made me laugh. Which really made me laugh.
yeah.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is with 8s, people are very home orientated when they have...
Yes, I am a little homebody.
You're
Yeah.
a homebody. You're completely... Yeah. See, I told you when I read your chart, I was like, oh, this is definitely Kerry.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a really lovely, it's a really lovely energy to have. But sometimes because they're such strong, nurturing, feminine energies, and we live in such a masculine dominated world, it can be a little bit tricky to know how to use them because they're so feminine and so lovely. And it's a very masculine world. So yeah, it's really beautiful ways of being that you are, and your spiritual talents are similar. But just to physical goals quickly, your physical goals are all about learning to access your capabilities and sharing them with the world. So coming out of reading with the 3s and sharing them. And because you relate so well with the 8s, you're probably very well received. But as a goal of something you're really here to do, how does it sound to really
Yeah,
access?
and I struggle. I mean, I watch your lovely Instagrams and Emily Peaches, and I really envy you because you really put yourself out there and very brave. And I don't, and yeah, and that's a kind of, I'll talk about kinesiology and all sorts of things in person with people, but
Yeah,
I overthink Facebook posts. I overthink. Yeah, I play it really safe. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's
So I
okay.
don't know why. It's sort
No,
of fear of being judged, I suppose.
well, it's sometimes a fear of being seen, and this is the 3s. The 3s like to hide down here in the canal and not come out into the open. And when you hide in the canal, you are hiding all of your deep soul knowledge that you have within you, which your soul contract is sort of wanting you to share. Because the energies of the 22/4, so the 4 sharing, all about feeling worthy to receive, and then receiving, and then sharing, and then receiving, and then sharing. So you have to know that what you have to share is worthy to be shared. And this is the 3 energies, this deep soul knowledge that you have within you. Your soul wants you to share it, and it wants you to share it with people who you relate to really well. And
Yeah.
the 8s are about grounding. People with 8s are very grounded. Your home body, you can ground into this reality. People need people to share things in a grounded way. Okay. So you have creator energies within you, the 22/4. This is what it's saying. And you need to share them. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And that's in life in general. So that's not just work wise. That's just
Yeah.
with everything. Right. Okay.
Wherever you put the creator energies aren't creative energies, they are source. It's source coming through you in
Right.
any realm that you choose to be in or to work in.
Right. Okay.
And people remember with threes, you can underestimate your abilities. So,
Yeah.
what can I share? The key here is to come into self-acceptance and self-worth. This is what the threes are all about. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
So you've also got eights in your spiritual karma. Okay. So the eights in spiritual karma, this is all about boundaries.
Which we talk about boundaries.
Have you struggled with boundaries in your life?
I have in the past. I'm much better at boundary setting now. Like this job, I didn't want to say, I didn't want to call it a day because I thought, oh, it's letting people down. Actually, it wasn't for me. I didn't like it. I'd be doing it for the wrong reasons. So I jumped ship. So yeah, but I feel like, oh, it's a bit, to quit after one shift is a little bit extreme. But I thought, no, life's too short. Life's too short. I'm not gonna, yeah. So I am getting better at that, definitely.
Yeah, it's I've also got eights in my spiritual karma, and this is why we get on so well.
Yes.
So we share the same soul destiny. And
Yeah.
I also have 12-3, but in my physical talents. So we've got quite a few similar numbers.
We are like little soul karma twinnies.
We're soul karma twinnies, and your spiritual karma of 8 8s is also about, and this is what I struggle with, feeling, grounding your feelings into your body and actually feeling them. So yeah, it's about feeling your emotions. You are here to come in and feel your emotions. And it's deeply uncomfortable when we have karmic spiritual eights. Okay.
Yeah.
So also, we're so aware of our spiritual nature and our spiritual essence, but we have to ground it on earth. We have to like be present. We have to root ourselves down, and we have to connect to society, because often we like to avoid that with eights.
Yes. Yes.
We like to run away and say, oh no, I don't want to be on this earth plane. It's too hard.
Yeah, definitely. And we want to pick and choose who we do want to interact with, don't we?
Exactly, because we're very sensitive. Eights are very energetically sensitive, so we feel things. We're very empathic. Okay, so yeah, that would be why. But your spiritual divine 12-3s are all about expanding knowledge with great love. It's the most loving combination of numbers you can have. And people with 12-3s and their talents can often see beauty even in the lowest vibrations. They see the good in everything.
Yeah.
Does that sound like?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you have this ability to share great love. This is what these numbers mean together. We often mother people when we have 12
Yes.
so you are a mother, but you are very mothering as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're super mothering.
Yeah, but I over mother. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Do you find that you have a bit of a thirst for learning? You're always interested in learning.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I think if you sit still, then you don't. I think you waste away, don't you? I think you've got to keep learning and moving and adapting, and yeah.
12s are always seeking to expand and gain new wisdom and then share it with others. But with the 12-3s, and remember, there's a lot of karma with our soul destiny, because we really have to work through stuff to get there, and they're the same number. 12-3s don't like to slow down.
No. No.
Yeah. And that can cause all kinds of problems, because we have to slow down and ground and come into our bodies, but the 12-3 energies doesn't like us to do that. 12-3s are always like, what's next? What can we learn? What can we share? Where can we go? What can we do? And combined with that spiritual karma of 8-8s, we barely come into our bodies. And we sometimes forget that we have them.
Yeah.
So there can be a very big imbalance between the physical and the spiritual. So we can lean way too far into one side and not the other.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that rings true.
Oh yes. Oh yes. So let's look at your spiritual goals. Lovely. So the same number, the 4, as your physical goals. Your spiritual goals are all to do with sharing yourself, your knowledge, your wealth, your abundance, and anything that you have to share. And it's all about radiating who you are to the world, and you radiate who you are when you work through this physical karma of coming out of hiding, because you can't radiate who you are if you're still hiding in the
Yeah.
shell. And it's about trusting in abundance. So how easily do you trust in the flow of abundance that good
Not at all. Not at all.
yeah.
And it's a real issue with me. But money particularly comes in and out too quickly. It doesn't seem to hang around. Yeah, I have a real I don't know, a lack of worthiness with regards to abundance, I think.
Well, that's because the lesson in 3s is poverty to wealth. So people
Yeah.
with 3s undercharge for their services, they can do. They don't feel worthy to receive, combined with the that sits in the goals of, oh, am I worthy to give? Because am I worthy to receive? So I can therefore give. It's all to do with worthiness, and it's all to do with trusting that you are enough, and that God or the universe or spirit loves you unconditionally and wants you to have enough. And this is the combined karma of those 3s and 4s together.
Right. Okay.
So to work through the 4s is you have to share yourself more. You have to share yourself with other people. You have to share your wealth. You have to share yourself. People with 4s often have children when they have 4s in their charts, and I know you're a mum, because children teach us unconditional love. So
Yeah.
do you feel unconditionally loved by your children?
Absolutely. Yeah. A couple of little dollies there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you receive unconditional love, then share unconditional love. And what you're really sharing is source energy, because that is love in motion. So you have to keep working on these worthiness blocks, and to know your worth and to know your capabilities. You know, the 22-4 is all about knowing what you're actually, what you're capable of, and
And
accessing.
I think that's why I struggle with where I live, because I've been shouted down living in a village that didn't approve of the fact I wasn't vaccinated, don't quite get the job I do, and I have been outwardly critical to neighbours, have been outwardly critical to other people about, that doesn't really work, or I don't really get what that is. And I think I've gone more and more in on myself since living here because of that.
Yeah, it's not the right place for you. And
No.
because of your 8s in spiritual karma, you need to connect to a society and a community where you feel safe. And if
Yeah.
this is not a place that you feel like you can ground into and create a home for yourself, then you're not going to be able to utilize all these talents that you have.
And I've gone from one extreme to the other. My old village, I ran the preschool for 12 years, so knew absolutely everybody from the babies all the way up to the grandparents, which got too much for me. I kind of couldn't do anything without seeing someone I knew, and I've gone from one extreme to the other, really.
Yeah.
I need something a bit in the middle.
Yeah, you do. You need to, people with 8s in karma need to kind of be on the edge, on the fringe, because we get overwhelmed by being in the thick of it, but we can't be isolated because it's not healthy for us. We
No.
need to be around people, but not too many.
Yeah.
So really, your spiritual goal, your soul destiny, which is the same as mine, is to keep. So often people with this in their soul destiny are in a rush, because we're in our last few incarnations on earth, and we want to absorb as much information as we possibly can, because we're really like, we've got to retain it all, we've got to go.
Right.
And so really we're here to gain a lot of spiritual knowledge, and to share it with an open heart with others. Okay, so this is really why you're here, and you're going to be able to do that what I have to say is worthy of being listened to, And when you actually pull out that deep soul knowledge from within, you'll be able to do that because you can emotionally connect with people with your eights and these talents. So people really relate to you. And with your spirituals, you're very loving, very motherly, and people are really drawn to that energy. So it's a really lovely talent to have. You just need to access your capabilities, create capabilities which are within you, and then share them and ground down somewhere and emotionally connect to people in a society where you feel safe to do so. And all of these will combine to sort of reaching this lovely soul destiny of being able to expand and share and teach what you know.
Yeah.
So it's all about teaching. So how does that all sound?
Yeah, spot on. And it's funny because when I started kinesiology, I thought, do you know what, I'd really like to teach that would really float my boat, but
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to the exams. That's the thing that's putting me off doing exams again. But yeah, that would really float my boat, because I think kinesiology is so amazing and powerful.
Yeah.
That I get frustrated with the rest of the world for not everybody knowing about it.
Yeah. So you have to this is what your soul is like. It wants you to teach these lovely things and to share them with love. And fours are all about, fours are about sharing, duplicating, sharing, abundance. But you have to work through this three of being worthy to receive, and then you can then share. And being in the right place with the eights is going to be really important for you.
Yes.
And my
Yeah.
life was changed by being in Cambridge. The different place contains a huge amount of different energy. And I'm gonna recommend something for you. And then slow down, Kerry, come into your body, because the combination that we have, which is identical, of the spiritual talents and soul destiny combined with the eights, we have to stop rushing, because 12 threes are go, 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 expand, expand, do more. And we don't come into our bodies and we don't feel things, and we have to feel things. And for you, with your physical karma of threes, you have to learn to feel. So with the threes and the eights together, you have to feel things deeply in your body and slow down and really feel them. And that's going to put you in a much more powerful, expanded place.
Yeah, because I am a rusher with decisions, with absolutely everything. Yeah.
It's time to slow down.
Yeah.
And
And be less.
slow down, and with the fours, trust. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, that's lovely. Really interesting.
Oh, good. Well, I will stop sharing, and I will
What
pull.
were the numbers across? There was lots of 19, add 5, add what across the top? What was that?
They were the numbers that, when I translated your birth name into the Hebrew,
Oh, they were the
numbers, and then we map them onto the Star of
onto
David.
right.
Yeah, we map them on, and then they.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it read you quite well because I know you, but
I think it read me very well. Yeah. But
yeah.
I like I said, I think I'm in this little, like you were in Newmarket. You were waiting for your life to start,
Yeah,
and it was moving to Cambridge kind of activated you.
activated it. Yeah, because you know this isn't your place.
Yeah.
And with your eights, you need to be somewhere where you can ground into society. Because if you can't, if you
Sorry.
don't have a society to ground into, how can you share what you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it all starts from the grounding. You have to come back to the spiritual karma of finding that place, of accessing your community. Okay.
Yeah. Now I just need to know what the secret is to moving. We met with an agent the other day who does it like American style, where they build up the frenzy, then they have an open house, and then they stagger people every 10 minutes, so people see other people looking, and then that makes them psychologically